Good morning. It's January 4th, 2021, about 9:45 in the morning. I've had some things on my heart the past few days, but I haven't really had the quiet space to stop and upload anything. So I just really wanted to take this time and talk to you guys about something pretty quick, I think, and enjoy the beauty of nature in the mall parking lot. So what I wanted to talk about today was stuffing. Stuffing what? Thanksgiving's over. No, stuffing your emotions. Okay, so there's this thing that's called the emotional cup. It's not a literal thing, obviously. It's more of something that is used to describe our capacity to contain our emotions. And so that emotional cup in some counseling methods and things like that is a picture of a cup, and it shows everything that you add to that cup, emotions that you take on and don't express. And what it shows is that over time, you will just keep adding things. Okay, that person was rude to me. Okay, but now I'm going to put that in my emotional cup because I want to hold on to it and the anger that came with it, or the feeling of being hurt came with it. I'm going to put that in my cup and hold on to it, and then something else comes along and I'm going to add it to my cup. Well, that person didn't respond to me in the way that I expected them to, and now I feel rejected. Only I didn't process that I felt rejected. I just threw the feeling in my cup and added some more to that cup. Over time, these little things happen. Our child might say something to us that hurts our feelings because they don't realize what they're doing. They haven't learned effective communication skills yet, or healthy expression necessarily of their emotions. And so little things like that, the husband and wife situation, I'm sure there's lots of room for that to happen. He threw his shoes on the floor. I'm going to keep that anger. I'm going to add it to my cup. Or, she doesn't show me respect. I want to say, I'm coming from a woman's perspective, but I really believe there's value in these little discussions for men to take away from, in the sense that you get to glean some insight on the female process and the way we can think sometimes and process emotions, and that will better equip you to communicate with women, whether you're a friend, even a teacher, if you're a brother and sister, or cousins, or boyfriend and girlfriend, or just dating, or husband and wife. It has the ability to better equip each and every one of us to communicate effectively and have stronger, healthier relationships. Less arguments, people. Men. So yes, men and women, we can both pick up these emotional things, and children. These tools are so effective if we can get a hold of them ourselves and start teaching them to our children at young ages. Man, we're talking about some healthy, strong kids, emotionally speaking. And so we keep adding things to our cup. And just think, if we go over a number of years adding things, decades for some of us, adding things to our cup and never finding an outlet that's healthy, that will improve ourselves as an individual, then that cup eventually gets full. So imagine what happens when you have a full cup and you add something to it. It overflows. So in the sense of an emotional cup, you add stuff to an emotional cup and it gets full. When it overflows, it usually looks like an explosion. So do you ever hit that point where you're like, I just can't take anymore, I'm going to lose it if one more thing happens? Guess what? Your emotional cup is probably at capacity, if not over capacity. That's where our emotional explosions happen. and come from. And if we can just take the time to really, and I say introspect, but I say that with caution, because if you over introspect, you begin to become self-focused, and you can bring on other things that I'm going to discuss in another video at another time. But for the context of the emotional cup conversation, we need to understand and take a minute to say, what am I feeling right now? And it's a discipline that you develop over time. And it might look like just right before you're about to explode going, okay, wait a minute. What's before I say something I regret to my kids, before I say something I regret to my best friend or my, mate, whoever that might be, before I say something that's gonna hurt, I need to not stuff. I'm gonna be still and think about what I'm really feeling. And for me, let me tell you, journaling is so powerful. Just take a minute, you take a pen and paper. I have mine with me all the time, just because I've seen over the past 8 years since I started journaling, how effective that has been for me. And I literally write down what I'm feeling. And I this is kind of what it looks like for me, and I know that it works for other people. It's so effective, and I'm telling you, you will get so much emotional strength from this, and have much better relationships, and learn how to communicate more effectively. So it looks like for me, I feel this way. I feel angry because this person did this. Now, do I have a reason to feel angry? Is that a rational anger, or did I get offended by something from someone who didn't mean to offend me? Was I being too sensitive about the situation that I encountered? Or was there a way that they could have communicated with me that could have been more sensitive to my needs? So we have a responsibility to not get offended by every little thing someone does. And we also have a responsibility to discern if someone could have communicated differently, and learn how to communicate to them, hey, I just want to let you know I felt really hurt by this, and I know you never meant to hurt me, but I wanted to let you know so that maybe next time when you're communicating with someone, it could come out a little differently. And that's how we grow, because we give feedback on a situation that didn't go well, and it gives other people the ability to communicate more effectively. It really, really works. And sometimes people just don't want to hear it, and you go, okay, well, that's not going anywhere, and that's okay. It's not a method to fix everybody. It's a method to look at ourselves and say, how can I improve as an individual and do my part in having healthy communication with others and better relationships? And so that journal process, I've sat down and wrote for a couple of hours at a time. That's not for everybody. That's part of kind of my thing. But just writing down how you feel. And if you feel that a conversation is necessary, coming to that person and not, this is like counseling, communication 101. Coming up to somebody and talking to them and saying, you did this and it made me. First of all, you're giving someone power to make you into something. People cannot make you feel a certain way. You choose to feel what that was, and you get to keep that feeling, or you get to discard it. Hopefully not stuff it. And so write down, I feel this way. Well, why do I feel this way? What could have gone differently in that situation? What was my part? What was this other person's part? And it sounds really complicated, but it was really not. When you just take a minute and you think about it, it will begin to flow over time, and you'll find yourself working through things so quickly. I've learned how to sit down and write in my journal and literally work through some very serious situations within myself and within relationships, and I never had to have a conversation, and the entire situation shifted because I processed what I was really feeling and learned how to put it in its proper place. I think there's a lot more to this, and it'll unfold over time. For the purposes of keeping the videos short, I want to start to wrap it up, but yeah, just be aware of what you're feeling. Be aware of what you're feeling and find healthy ways to express it. I think that's the main point. Healthy ways to express, identify what you're feeling and express it gives you the ability to keep from allowing that emotional cup to get full and explode. You'll find less explosions over time, and you'll find yourself better, more able to express yourself in a way that's not destructive. And so healthy expressions of emotion can look like hitting the punching bag at the gym. For some people, it can look like putting on some music and dancing in their living room or going for a drive. It could be screaming into a pillow. I used to give my size to save stuff that I had set just for my son to destroy. When he was feeling an immense measure of anger, I could tell, and I would sit down and talk to him and say, like, okay, let's identify the feeling. And he would express his feeling. Okay, why are you feeling that way? And then he would tell me why he's feeling that way. And then it's, I feel because, not you did this to me. That's an accusation, which puts people on the defense and provokes an argument. I feel this way because is saying, I have this feeling, and this is a result of something that happened, and I want to talk through it. Just a little communication skill for when you have to have that conversation. But having things around the house that you can destroy. My son looked at I had an appliance that was getting ready to be hauled off, and it was in the yard temporarily, and he was very upset at a point in time. And I said to him, he looked at me and he goes, "Is that junk?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Can I destroy it?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he just took sticks and whatever he could find, and he beat the tar out of that appliance, and he expressed it in a healthy way. Why was that healthy? Because it wasn't destroying anything that wasn't meant to be destroyed, because he was expressing it instead of stuffing it down for later, where he could build resentment and unforgiveness and all of these toxic things over time that would, as an adult, become just a hot mess in relationships. I think I've shared enough to make a point to give you guys a little bit of something to think about and some tools to work with, and I will, again, it'll all build on each other and expand over time and come together to make a lot of sense. Just want to make it short and sweet so that it's easy to apply, because I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed or feel like these are things that can't be accomplished in a normal everyday life, because I'm normal. I didn't even have my GED till like 4 years ago. I'm 42 years old. Okay, I'm not, no limits here. There's no limits to what you're capable of. And I just want you to know that today. And so I bless you. Thank you again for joining me. Feel free to share if you know of anybody who could use some of the material that's being shared here. And thanks again for watching. I look forward to continuing to get to know you and sharing a little bit of who I am and part of my journey. Have a great day.